What's up, guys? This is my predictions video for UFC Fight Night, Oklahoma City, or UFC Fight Night 112. This is an interesting card. It actually doesn't look that bad. So let's start with Carla Esparza versus Marina Moroz. This is an interesting fight because, one, I don't understand why this fight is on the prelims, but Felice Herrig versus Justine Kish is not. Both Esparza and Moroz are higher ranked than Felice Herrig, who's the higher ranked opponent in her fight. But she's the third last fight on the main card, right before the co-main event. But this fight is dug deep into the prelims, right? So it's pretty interesting, especially that Esparza was the champion, the first champion in the division. This is an interesting fight because you have Carla Esparza, who's predominantly a wrestler, doesn't have the greatest striking, very small for the division. She could be fighting at atomweight. She might have the best wrestling in the division, and she's deceptively strong for her size. She's good with dominating opponents, controlling the position, and landing strikes on top and breaking opponents until they give her a chance to go for a submission. She's fighting Marina Moroz, who's more well-rounded, more of a risk taker, especially on the feet. She's a striker as well as having really good submissions. She's much taller and much longer than Esparza. She can give Esparza's more straightforward style a bit of problems. So in this fight, I'm going to go with Esparza. Although I do see it as a close fight, I think Esparza is going to be too pressuring and get the takedown almost at will. And I think her infighting is going to give the longer Moroz a lot of problems. So I'm going to go with Esparza. I'm going to go by a decision. And then we go to the main card, BJ Penn versus Dennis Siver. Both are older fighters, reaching the end of their careers. We thought it was the end of Penn's career. But I like this fight a lot better for both fighters, especially BJ Penn, after coming off such a horrible matchup against someone like Yair Rodriguez. And if BJ Penn were to have come back without going through that fight, I may have given him more of a chance in this fight. But we have BJ Penn, who's more of a boxer, jiu-jitsu fighter hybrid. Although he's much older now, his boxing doesn't look that great, especially to how he was before. Very plodding as he usually was. We haven't seen much of his game off his back though, when he's not rocked. So that could be interesting in this fight. He's a very straightforward fighter, throws hands, has crisp striking at times, and he's fighting Dennis Siver, who hasn't fought in such a long time. His last fight was 2 years ago against Kawajiri, and before that was his fight with Conor McGregor. And he's a bit older as well. He's more of a striker. He has some underrated takedowns. He's more of a kickboxer, has some really good spinning back kicks. He throws wide punches. He's very stocky, and his shots sometimes look a little bit labored, or he pushes them through instead of snapping his punches and kicks. He's a bit faster than Penn, a little bit smaller, but he's very strong. He's a very physical fighter. It's hard to choose in this fight, especially when you don't know where both these fighters are at mentally, but I'm going to go with Dennis Siver, and I'm going to go by a decision or a third round knockout due to him being a little bit faster, more technical, not taking as much damage as Penn has. Then we go to Tim Means versus Alex Garcia. This should be a fun fight with Tim Means being more of a striker, Muay Thai style fighter. He has really good elbows. He's really good in the clinch. He's much taller and longer than Alex Garcia, who's more of a powerhouse. He has some good jiu-jitsu, although he's been working on striking a lot lately and has some real knockout power, especially that right hand. Very dangerous, really quick. Doesn't have much cardio. So in this fight, it really depends how far the fight goes, because I think Tim Means might have problems early on if he doesn't get the clinch and land his knees and elbows and teeps, using his reach and keeping Alex on the outside. Alex is going to want to take it to the ground or try to land a big shot early, because later in the fight, that's when Tim Means will actually get stronger and Garcia is going to gas out a little bit. So in this fight, I'm going to go with Tim Means, and I'm going to go by a decision. Then we go to the co-main event, Tim Boetsch versus Johnny Hendrix. This is an interesting fight, especially because Johnny Hendrix is a part of this. Tim Boetsch, he's been up and down in his career. Tim Boetsch, extremely tough, really good chin, hard-working fighter who doesn't quit at all, has a lot of heart. He's more well-rounded, although he is more of a boxer, if you describe his style in any way. He's not really traditional anywhere. He's also a very physical fighter, tries to push through opponents, throw them over. He's really good at infighting, especially with the uppercuts, which can improve a lot of problems for someone like Hendrix, because Tim Boetsch is also really big. This is the biggest fighter Johnny Hendrix has ever fought. Boetsch fought at light heavyweight not too long ago, and Johnny Hendrix is coming from welterweight. And Johnny Hendrix is extremely small for this division. He's a really good wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in the UFC. He has some decent boxing, although he has been down in his career lately, especially in performance. I mean, he's not the same Johnny Hendrix that fought GSP or the one that fought Robbie Lawler in the first fight. I think that Lawler fight really took something out of Hendrix, because after that first fight with Lawler, he hasn't fought the same. He's been more shy to exchange on the feet, but in this fight, he's much quicker than Boetsch. I believe he has more crisp boxing. His leg kicks are pretty good, especially mixing them with the punches, and his wrestling, if he could take Boetsch down, could be a problem for Boetsch. Because Johnny Hendrix missed weight at a weight division that there should be no excuse for him missing. it just proves that he's mentally not there, or he's not as strong mentally. I'm going to go with Tim Boetsch. I think he's going to be able to probably break Johnny Hendrix in this fight, using his size, his strength, pressure him, beat him up a little bit, and possibly even take him down. And I see Tim Boetsch winning by a second or third round TKO. If Johnny does lose this fight, I do see him possibly retiring. Then we go to the co-main event and the most anticipated fight of the card. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Lee. This should be a really fun fight because not only their grudge and the promotion has been going into this, especially from the press conference with that little scuffle. But technically and style-wise, this should be a really fun fight because they're very similar, actually. Michael Chiesa is probably the biggest lightweight in the division. I mean, he's taller than Nate Diaz. He has excellent jiu-jitsu. He has some power in his hands. He dropped Masvidal, if anyone's remember that. He's the only guy I've ever seen to drop Masvidal with a clean shot other than Edson Barboza. And that's really hard to do, especially how you see Masvidal take hits from even welterweights. He has really slick jiu-jitsu, really good at getting the back, really hard to deal with, especially with his length. He uses his length really well. His kicks are excellent on the feet. His punches are really good, especially when he comes straight down the middle. He's a very strong fighter. And Kevin Lee takes a jiu-jitsu wrestling approach, or a submission wrestling approach. He's really good at getting takedowns. He's very fast, very athletic. He has some power in his hands. He's been working a lot on his boxing. He has some slick submissions, especially combined with his wrestling dominance, because he's really pressuring on the ground and also to get the takedown. And on the ground, I'm really curious to see who is actually better at the scrambles. But if Lee takes Chiesa down, it can get really interesting how he deals with the slick transitions, the really sneaky reverses of Chiesa, and how he stops him from going for submissions. An interesting thing about this fight is Kevin Lee actually has a longer reach, although he's a much shorter fighter. That could throw off Chiesa because Chiesa might think that he has a longer reach in positions and forget how long Kevin Lee actually is. The other interesting thing is they're both about the same speed too. So in this fight, I'm gonna go with Michael Chiesa, and I'm going to go by a third round knockout or submission. I think his pressure and his strength is going to surprise Lee. And I think his scrambling ability is going to be a little bit better than Lee's. I see Chiesa catching Lee on the feet, being a little bit more unpredictable on the feet as Lee is trying to establish some dominance in the pressure. And I see him catching him, I see him getting on the ground, and also submitting Lee. So those are my predictions, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe. I already put on my Bellator predictions for this weekend, so make sure to check that out. And I'm going to make a breakdown video, possibly two, one from the UFC card and one from the Bellator card, early next week. So be on the lookout for those. And comment below where your guys' predictions are. Make sure to watch the fights. It's going to be an excellent card. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.